What is up, guys? Today is a very, very special day because we did not just fire one tile. We did not just fire 3 tiles, dipper bowls, or 2 mugs. We did a half kiln load, but we got a lot of cool stuff in there. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna do is make sure that it's not hot. I checked it a little bit earlier. It doesn't feel hot. It's a little warm to the touch, but that is all good. So we're gonna open her up. Man, you guys can probably already see that this fell over in the kiln, leaving us with some fusion on there. Really not happy with that.
So I decided I would just do a time lapse and voiceover here. A lot of these pieces turned out pretty nice. We had some pieces that really didn't turn out nice. It really was a tragedy to see that larger piece fall into that fishbowl shape. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the video. But ultimately, this was a pretty good firing. I had some pretty decent results. I had some pretty not great results, and that's how it is as a potter. You really can't get too attached to this stuff because, you know, some things turn out great and some things just don't. And ultimately, that's part of the craft. You know, with painting and other art forms, you know what you're going to get. But with pottery, you don't always know what you're going to get. And to me, that's one of the beautiful things about it, and that's what I love about glazing so much. So again, thanks for watching.
Fused together. And the reason for this is just due to the fact that I trimmed the bottom so thin that the metal in this stilt pierced the bottom of the vessel. Luckily, this did happen, because if you saw in the video, that piece was sitting right here and could have fell against my kiln. That would have been a serious issue. Alright, now for the good, the bad, and the ugly. So although this set looks really nice together, we got that little blemish there, which that's from falling over in the kiln. But still ultimately pretty cool piece despite that. Then I made this little bud vase to go with it. So even though we had that disaster, I was still happy with that. And then therefore, this was the piece that saved my kiln, because if that thing would have fell over on a wall, that would have been a disaster. So we got this little blemish as well. But overall, this turned out pretty nice. So that's the first kind of disappointment. The next one is this one. This is one of the first like bigger pieces that I made, I guess, and it's not even really that big. It's just a little candy dish or something. This is the Shino with the birch as well. The Shino just doesn't pair well with the birch, in my opinion. It just doesn't look great. So that one, not a huge fan of. And then we got these two, and these two. This is the issue with this. You can see that there's some serious pinholing in there, which makes it so bacteria and things like that can stick around. So these ones were kind of a disappointment. I'm really not a big fan of this Shino. I thought I would enjoy it more. Maybe it's more of a dipping glaze, because with the brush marks, you can see the brush marks, which is a cool indicator of the maker. But ultimately, it looks sloppy. So that's 4 that we can no longer use. I might be able to refire them, but will I? This is the Aurora Green. This one looks fantastic. I was very happy with how that one turned out. This one here, this is the White Opal, which is what you're seeing here on the raw clay. It comes through really nicely. And then underneath of that is the Oxblood, which in this context, you get this really nice like purple and blue. So I might play around with that again in the future, but it doesn't come through boldly enough for me to really want to do too much with it. Still, for something that I could probably give away, pretty cool little piece. I want to go over these ones next before this one. This is birch over right here on the rim here, this is the oxblood again, and then the oxblood on the inside, which we had some really good results on the inside of these ones with the oxblood. So I'm very content with how those ones turned out. Both of those. This one is the Enchanted Forest, and this one has the white opal on the inside, and I just think this turned out great. The white opal layered over this Enchanted Forest comes out fabulous. Like, you can see that on the rim there. No pinholing at all. Really nice piece. I'm very satisfied with how that turned out. Then we get into some of my absolute favorites here. This is, again, the sandstone, but it has the black matte on the inside. I wanted to try that because it worked well with the winter wood. The matte with the gloss looks a little goofy on the rim, but still pretty cool results. We get a lot of pinks and things like that in there. Great looking glaze. Pretty happy with that. We got 2 of those. We got 2 of every one of these. And then this one is my absolute favorite thing that we got out of this entire firing. This is the winter wood with the sandstone on top and on inside. This turned out better than any of the other glaze results in my opinion today. This is the same thing that's on this. If this would have turned out, this would have been an absolutely fantastic set. So we'll be coming back to this, the winter wood with the sandstone, or not the sandstone, but the winter wood with the birch on it. Just looks so good. Very, very satisfied with how this turned out. We can kind of go over maybe some of the test tiles here as well. So this one here is number 14 of the tiles I've made so far. This one is white opal across the whole thing, then oxblood on the top half. And that's 1 coat of white opal, 2 coats of the oxblood. And the oxblood kind of ran down, not a very bright glaze, but still pretty cool. This is one that I thought was absolutely fantastic for a tile. This is 2 coats of the Enchanted Forest with another 2 coats on top of the white opal. And the white opal just brings out this fabulous blue in this glaze. So that's something that we'll be playing around with again in the future, absolutely. The next one, which looks great on this tile, this is our tile number 16. This is oxblood with white opal. Still pretty cool. This one here, number 17, this one is just Enchanted Forest with oxblood on the top half, but other than this little smudge right here, you can't tell. So it's not really going to be something that I anticipate I'll be using. This one here, this one turned out nice too, but not a lot of color. This is 2 coats of the birch with a coat of the oxblood on top, so I'm playing around with the oxblood a lot here. Next one here, number 19, this is 2 coats of the birch, 1 coat of the oxblood on the second half. That looks good. I'm liking that. That looks nice. Knocked down one of our pieces. That's okay. This one is the Himalayan salt and 2 coats of the Shino on the top half. That actually looks... Or wait. This is number 20. Okay. Himalayan salt, 2 coats of Shino. So I wrote that wrong. This is the Shino on the bottom, Himalayan salt on the top half. I think I had those backwards. The last one here, the one I was most excited about, number 21, is winter wood with the birch. So that's pretty much it here, guys, for our firing results. The good, the bad, and the ugly of firing your own kiln. We have some pretty cool stuff here. We got some pretty traumatizing stuff here. But ultimately with pottery, you just can't get too attached to the stuff you make. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching.